All right, let's see what happens tonight. Yeah, it says we got a couple people watching. All right. Well, y'all come on in the house, hit the chat room. Well, one left. Okay. Well, let's see what goes on tonight. See how many people we can get in here. Daniel, how you doing, buddy? Hope everything's going good with you in Olanda. And by the way, I sent you an email. I got that package out to you. I put it out this morning, so you should see it in a few days. Hey, Joe, hurry back. Doing good, Daniel. I had a day off today, so I just kind of messed around the house and did some things. Wanted to go fishing, but last night when I checked the weather, it said it was a 70% chance of rain. So I slept in and got up this morning and it was cloudy. I thought it was going to rain. I kind of hung around the house and never rained. I think I'm going to switch jobs and become a weatherman. Hey, not a problem, buddy. Let's see if we can get some more people in here and then we'll start this show. All right. This might be it for a while. Wednesday nights is a pretty tough night for live streams. No, I can't. Wednesday night's a pretty tough night to do live streams. You got a lot of great channels that are doing live streams tonight. Um, but I'm trying to get more specific, talking about ducks and duck hunting and waterfowl hunting in general, dogs, boats, that kind of thing. It's one thing, like Monday nights for me is kind of like a relaxing night, talk about anything, whatever. And that's great. Just kind of relax, have a good chat, have some laughs and cut up and whatnot. But on Wednesday nights, I like to get a little serious about the ducks and whatnot. Hi, Tina. How you doing? Get out here and just start talking. It's right around the corner. I think we got about 15 days and the early teal season starts. Um, got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days and the early goose season starts September 1st. September 8th Well, so let's see, September 4th, dove season starts here. You're going to need to get new stamps, bud. You're going to need to get new stamps. So what I do, Daniel, and let me do this real quick. I like this. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to, I do everything online now. I mean, it's just very simple. So I get the sportsman's license, and when I do that, then I order the deer tags, turkey tags, and I get the HIP, the Harvest Information Program. Got to get it, and then I get the state duck stamp and the federal duck stamp all rolled up into one, and I do that right at right around September 1st. I gotta get mine done here in about a week. But what I do is I do it on my phone, so I'll order everything on my phone, and then I'll take a snapshot of my license and everything online, take a snapshot of it, and I keep it on my phone. So if I'm ever checked, in a dove field, or if I happen to go early goose season, and I can sit there and just pull it up on my phone and say, here's my my shot of it. All right, that's cool, Joe. Yeah, Daniel, it's every year you have to start it all over again. What's the HIP? Okay, the HIP is Harvest Information Program, and it's free. You don't have to buy anything, but when you fill out to get a new license, and you tell them that you're getting duck stamps, and normally they just put it on there for you, but when you order it online, you have to request it, and it's mandatory that you have. Usually at the end of the year, they'll send you a form that asks you to record and dates migratory birds that you shoot, which is doves, ducks, geese, marsh hens, purple gallinoo, I think is in there, moor hens, that kind of stuff. Hey, Doug, how you doing, buddy? And coots, how many did you kill on what date? They usually send you a little form at the end of the year. And when you get that, fill that form out and send it in on what your harvest is. If you didn't kill anything, you didn't kill anything. I mean, but send it back in. And what that does is it helps the U.S. Fish and Game set limits and seasons for us. And I'll tell you, for years, we had a 4 mallard limit, and a lot of us were saying we don't need that many here on the Atlantic Flyway. But what people were recording were these released ducks from these ponds. So it appeared that we were shooting more mallards than what we really were. And finally, somebody got wise to it and understood that we weren't shooting that many mallards. These were released ducks, a lot of them. And TRI, how you doing? These were a lot of released ducks. So that's why one of the reasons, plus low breeding. I had a couple bad years. had a couple bad years of in during the breeding season, which has reduced our limit of mallards. But if you do fill out the hip, just be truthful about it. If you didn't shoot anything, you didn't. I mean, there's been many years, I have put down, shot 5, 6. I didn't. I don't embellish it either way. Yeah, Joe, that cosmoline stuff. That's you need to clean it like I clean it. That's how you get it all out. Yeah, Danny. Every year I get it, but then again, it could be that every year, I've been sending in a hip since they've started requesting it. Hey, Ryan, how you doing? Ryan, I have not even looked for teal. I won't start looking for teal till September gets here. I've been looking at places to hunt that I generally know where teal are going to be at. I've gotten a few reports of people seeing very small flocks, 5 to 10 in a flock, here and there. No big concentrations yet that I've been hearing. I did see some teal very, very early, about 3 weeks ago, in a flooded field. I haven't seen any since. But then again, I haven't been really looking for them. My scouting is still scouting to see where there's skinny water and where there's good vegetation. And come 1st of September is when I'm going to start really knuckling down and looking for teal. As far as geese go, I see them every day, but they're not huntable geese. They're park geese or in a parking lot or in a city park somewhere. I just don't. I don't see geese that much flying to different pond jumping and field jumping like they do out west. And because of that, is one of the reasons why I don't hunt them that much. Every now and then during teal season, I will see some geese on the lakes, but I can't get them patterned. Yeah, I know we got the full moon next week, and got some good winds that are coming. I am still concerned because if the water's too deep and it's not skinny like it should be, or if they start flooding a lot of these impoundments early, one of the things they did last year, and I can't fault a man for doing that. I mean, I may not approve of it, but I can't fault someone who does it. But his impoundments got flooded earlier than normal, and that is because a lot of people have started planting rice, which is a good thing. Rice attracts more ducks. I'm a big firm believer in that. But they started, like I said, they were flooding early, and a lot of those teal left the public waters and headed into the private impoundments. Yeah, we do. And I mean, I pretty much roll a lot of places when I'm teal hunting. This year, I'm not excited. I'm not as excited for South Carolina teal this year. Pretty much because I'm only going to get a couple of days to hunt, because I am taking a trip out to Kentucky, and I may not. It's just going to be a couple of days, so I'm not going to put a lot of effort into into looking for teal right now is just I'm only going to get like 1, maybe 2 days if I'm lucky before I go to Kentucky. And by the time I get back, the season will be out. Yeah, we got a lot of water. We got a lot of water that came down that storm that hit Sunday, it's put a lot of water in the lakes. Hey, Cody, After 5 Outdoors, how you doing, bud? Well, thanks, Ryan. Yeah, I hope we have a good trip. The good thing about Kentucky and states like Kentucky, Tennessee, and Florida that I know for sure, they have an early summer duck season that coincides with the teal season. So if we don't get into any teal, we will definitely be able to get into some summer ducks. And of course, I'll be there when the early goose season's in. Of course, dove season will be in down there or up there. So there's a lot of things we're going to be doing while we're there. Yeah, man, I got you. You're working. But like I said, if anybody's got any questions about the early teal season or what to look for, I've had a couple of videos out, but if you want to talk about it some more, of course, I want you to look at my videos. Trust me, all the way through. But if you got any questions about early teal, great. I'll put them in the chat. I'll answer them. If you got any questions about the waterfowl season in general, I see what you say. I know you want to say bro, and you end up calling me boo. I thought it was kind of funny myself. It's the beard, bro. It's the beard. Hang on 1 second. I had a little malfunction here. You meant boo as in boo hoo. But if you have any questions about the teal season, duck hunting in general, conservation questions, what anything like that, put them up in the chat room, man. That's what we're going to be doing tonight. We're just talking. We're going to be talking ducks and waterfowl hunting. I am kind of excited for the early moorhen or purple gallinoo marsh hen season. And that opens up September 8th. And I've always enjoyed going after them. It's just something different. Generally, when I'm doing that, I'm on the front of the boat running a trolling motor and fishing. And then when I get up to some, cut the trolling motor and push pole into them best I can and try to get them to flush and shoot. A lot of times I'm doing by myself, and that's pretty tough. Trust me. But it's something I enjoy doing. And they eat really good. I know a lot of people don't like, they look at them and they think they're coots. But the fact of the matter is they eat really, really good. So, speaking of rain that we got TRI's back. Welcome back, buddy. Speaking of rain, I made mention of this on Monday night for those of y'all that weren't there. Sunday, I went out with a friend of mine. We were going up in the swamp. We just going looking. Again, it's not where I look for teal because, that's not the areas I look for teal, but we just wanted to go up in the swamp, hang out. Got caught in a real bad thunder and lightning storm, heavy rain. Jeremy Albritton, how you doing, buddy? So we got into this rain, and it actually flooded my boat. I had very little freeboard left in the transom area. It was tough. It was a little nerve wracking there for a little while. I posted that video up on Monday after the fact, and I had a couple people ask questions. You're fat and tired. I understand that, buddy. So I thought I'd help maybe answer some. I did my best, typing them out in the replies. But you have to understand that my boat and motor setup, it's a mud boat, and it's a Go Devil surface drive motor. These things, they're, even though they're considered an outboard, it's not your traditional outboard. Especially with mine, because there's no neutral on the motor. Once you turn it on, the propeller is engaged. It's in go. There's no reverse on mine. On my particular model, there's no reverse. There's no neutral. You turn it on, it goes. You need to back up, you use a push pole. Well, I was in a river. And because of the rain and the water that was coming down, it was very, very swift. In order for me to be safe, I had to keep going forward. Had I shut my motor off to try to repair the bilge pump, there's a good chance that boat would have got swung around in that river, and there was a lot of floating logs coming down. A lot of stuff had gotten dislodged and was floating down. So I had to keep it going forward and straight. If I'd have hit a log, even just drifting down, trying to bail water or fix my bilge pump, I could have flipped the boat over. And, I did not want to do that. You can understand. Somebody asked me why I didn't have a bailing cup. Again, I had to keep this boat going straight. I'll try to get some video maybe later of how far the tiller handle comes out. It's very, very long. And on a traditional motor, traditional outboard with a tiller handle, you're sitting pretty far back. Well, I'm a little forward of the back bench on my boat in a seat, and had I would have had to reduce speed, regain the speed with my right hand, and try to bail. It would have been very, very dangerous. Loaderman, how you doing? So it would have been very, very dangerous for me to do so. And had I done that, again, the chances of me flipping the boat or getting it lodged into something was greatly increased. Again, we had a 4-year-old kid in the boat, and even though and trust me, everybody was wearing life jackets, I knew better, and I kept that boat straight, kept that boat going forward. I had the buddy that was with me readjust some equipment in the boat to get it more centered, and to get them on the floor so they wouldn't be high centered. Which if we did hit something, the boat wouldn't flip over. So there was a lot of things to consider, and that's just years of experience being on the rivers and stuff. And that's why I did what I did, and that's the only way I could do it. But I hope that answers any more of the questions on that. If not, just post them up in the chat. Beetle Bunch is in town. Are y'all still on the road, Jay? Are y'all on the road or y'all back home? I knew that Jay was on the road today. Chris sent me a text. He said he was back out in the field. Can jump on. Okay. All right. All right, Jay, this is for you and you alone as of right now. So when you grab it, come on up. Yeah, Daniel. I forgot about that. Somebody asked me that question too. So why didn't you just pull the drain plug? Because that works. And yes, on a traditional outboard, it's very, very simple. But on the way of the layout of my boat, I would literally have to turn around, put weight on the back to reach down to get it. Had I done that, there'd been so much weight in the back that it could have dropped that transom in the water. Because trust me, I thought about it. I mean, for about a half a second, I thought about it. But it's just too much. It's too much weight on the back, and I'm not light. Okay, I'm not a little fella. That'd have been a lot more weight on the back, and it would have dropped that transom down below the waterline. All right, we got the Beetle Bunch driving.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good, man. Getting a load of dogs.
That's where we're headed to go pick up a couple right now.
Oh, you're going to pick them up? Okay.
Yeah, I got two to pick up right now here. So.
All right. Well, we're talking ducks tonight. Duck season, waterfowl season is right around the corner for us.
I tell you what, I'm ready. Ready for waterfowl.
How's the? Have you been able to scout any?
No, not yet. We might try to get out maybe this weekend a little bit and look around. Which we've been. It's like I think our heat index today was like 102, 103, something like that. It was hot.
Well, Cody's saying, I know you're driving, so I'll try to tell you, but Cody from After 5 says hello.
Hey, Cody.
Hello there, Cody. Say ambush.
Jake wants him to say ambush.
He wants him to say ambush?
He loves to hear Cody say ambush.
Well, Cody can't get on. He can't get on. I don't think he can get on right now. He's at work too.
I was hoping to start seeing some teal on a little slough I drive by every day, but I ain't seen nothing on it yet. So.
Yeah. Cody's saying it's 65 degrees where he's at right now.
Oh, man, that would be so nice. It's like last night at about 8:30, it was 85 degrees. It's 77 right now. They had I'm in like closer to I'm about an hour from my house, and they got rain here. We didn't get any of it, so it kind of made it feel a little better here.
Well, man, I'm telling you, I'm getting excited about coming up there.
Me too.
The boys are too. They're ready. I don't know if you can hear them, but they are excited too.
Yeah. I want to see how I want to test out Jake's cooking skills.
I tell you what, think straight up cook a duck now.
You're gonna be amazed.
Well, he's got to be able to shoot one first.
Even
don't depend on me.
Yeah. The way they get shot, that's like Jake just said, don't depend on us. So.
Well, I have a question, and if we still have them in the grocery store, I'm going to get some. But do y'all eat boiled peanuts?
Oh my goodness, I love them.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
I'm gonna have my wife cook up if we still have them. We start losing them here in a couple of weeks. I'm gonna be going and buy some just to keep. I'm trying to bring some when I come up there.
And I'll tell you something else that we'll have while you're up here. We'll get us some cornbread.
Oh yeah. I'd love to be able to bring some back.
I'll have my brother make a couple.
Just so I can show people from South Carolina how to really cook cornbread.
Yeah, now like in the summer he goes more like towards what the boys call them, holy cakes, or they're whole cakes is what we call them.
Right.
Man, they're pretty good too, but I think the cornbread's about the best. But little Joel, he calls them holy cakes, so that's kind of what the name that's been picked up on them. So.
He put syrup on them because he thinks.
So I know that you haven't been scouting for ducks, but how about the geese? Have you been seeing any around?
Oh
yeah, we're seeing quite a few geese. I'm hoping that, and it should be about the time you get here. I'm hoping they get the silage cut. My dad leases a little bit of a farm out for cutting silage to a neighbor for silage, and I'm hoping that that gets cut, and then the geese will be in there. We probably might even be able to shoot some wood ducks, like in ground, layout blinds in the cornfield.
That would be all. I have never shot I've never shot summer ducks in a field, so this ought to be a treat.
Now,
and I'm excited for that.
It was 3 or 4 years ago. Me and Josh, I didn't think they'd be in it was our cornfield. I think they picked it that year. It was later it was like the regular season, and I was watching the field, and there was wood ducks. Man, they were coming up as we were walking out, just shooting up out of the cornfield. So, and then last year, I could sit up on top of the ridge where my dad lives and was watching the cornfield.
You can see the geese and ducks.
And you can see geese and the wood ducks. They were just piling into that cornfield.
Yeah. I can't. That's gonna be something. That's gonna be if that can happen, that'll be the treat for me.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously,
and
that will be the treat.
We picked up like a couple of extra ground blinds somewhere or another. I can't remember where that was at. Maybe
I have no. Yeah.
We bought another one that's really nice.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen her yesterday. Mojo, we've been running her out of the North Flight little dog ground blind.
Right.
And that was like the second time that we'd really run her out of that. She's doing really good on hanging in there and in the ground blind and watching. So
I saw the video come up. I have not had a chance to look at it yet. I've been today was my day off, and I've had a few things to do on my channel that I wanted to get done, and had to go do some filming, and then I had some stuff around the house I had to take care of. So haven't really been able to catch up on YouTube, other channels. Caught up on a few, but haven't been able to catch up on everybody.
I can't see the chat here, which I don't need to be looking at it either anyway, but Camaraderie Rescue, he's got some big news getting ready to come out, like huge news on a little project they're working on. So it's off the subject, but it's going to be pretty big. So if anybody gets a chance to go check them out, just look up Camaraderie Rescue, Google it, and, the website. But he's supposed to have a big meeting tomorrow, and it'll really help a lot of veterans.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if
Hey, Jake's
see if I
wondering
can.
what kind of guns you're bringing down here.
It's not what kind, it's how many.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can't. Give me a second, and I'm having a little internet issue here. My internet's slow. My wife must be out there streaming on the TV. Well, I'm bringing my 16 gauge. As far as for the ducks, I have my 20 gauge for ducks and doves. And if we start seeing a lot of geese, then I'll probably pull out my 12. So I'm bringing guns.
So like last year, the geese were coming into the cornfield like of evenings, and so what we done was, wood ducks of the morning, and then like they were coming in about 6 o'clock, and we were out out there. So and then we would jump shoot the creek where the geese, close to where the geese was at, and it worked out pretty good.
Right. Yeah, I'm having some issues with my internet. I think I'm still here. Can you hear me all right, Jay?
I hear you great.
Okay. Yeah, it's just running a little slow tonight. But well, that's cool. Yeah, I'm excited to get there. That's all I've been thinking about. I can't even hardly work.
See, September 2nd, we got invited to a big dove shoot. They invite us every year, so we're pretty excited about that. I just hope it ain't like 110 degrees.
Yeah, really. Yeah, ours don't open till the 4th. And I've got a dove field, a public dove field about 5 minutes from my house. So more than likely that's where I will, if I hunt opening day, that's probably where I'll end up going.
So we got a sweet corn patch. My father-in-law, big sweet corn, he sells a lot, and he bush hogged half of it. And then here in probably another 2 weeks, he'll bush hog the other half. And then we'll probably disc it up a little bit and put some, sow it down in wheat. So it should be pretty dang good by the time you get here for that little.
Okay.
For doves right there.
Yeah, I've been passing my dove field pretty much every other day here lately, and I'm seeing a handful, but that's about it. I think this we had a bunch of rain last week. I think it's kind of run some off, so hopefully they'll come back. Scattered them out a little bit.
Yeah, they ain't really showing much cool weather or any rain for us for several days now. So it's supposed to be pretty hot.
Yeah. All right, guys. If y'all have any questions for me or Jay as far as waterfowl or dogs, Jay's a dog man here. Push them up in the chat, and I'll read them out to Jay while he's driving. Hopefully, he can answer some.
Since you're talking about dogs, there's one thing that did that doves and young dogs video, but something even if you got a bird dog or something, when bird season comes in a little later or whatever, make sure that dog's in shape before you know,
Yep.
get him out. That's hard on them to, go from being fat and lazy in the kennel to, full tilt in the field. So.
Yeah, I've been fat and lazy all summer too, so it's going to be tough on me.
Yeah. I think there's maybe some wood ducks up on top of Turkey Mountain. We'll take you up it.
Yeah, get me a tractor.
I don't know if a tractor will make it.
I don't think a tractor will make it up there. Heck,
Hey, Cecilia, how you doing?
I don't even think you can make it up there in a side by side.
Yeah, that was in the winter.
That is, I didn't go up 30. I bet you I didn't even go 30 yards up that thing. And I said, nope, I ain't doing it.
Talking about ducks, I think we talked about this before. I keep looking at the drought forecasts and like the crop predictions, and man, everything looks pretty gloomy. Like from the Midwest all the way north, and I do believe we'll have an early push just because there ain't gonna be nothing there for them.
Yeah, I do too. Because like I was saying earlier before you came on, somebody asked me if I was seeing any teal or geese in my area, and it was I was saying I saw some teal 3 weeks ago. That's the earliest that I can recall ever seeing teal down here. That I see summer ducks every day.
Yeah.
I see resident mallards every other day, but to see teal, they came early. And when I started seeing them 3 weeks ago, I was talking to people in my state saying, "Are you seeing anything?" And they're saying, "Yeah, we're seeing them." And I'm like, I hope the push hasn't already started. That maybe this is some very, very young birds. I doubt very seriously they'll stick around because, a teal will move on a 5-degree weather change.
Yeah. I was looking I looked up looking at North Dakota, and like a -9 drought is pretty severe. And they're like, I want to say that it said it was like at -43 on their drought scat thing.
Whoa.
So that's I was looking at that on the USDA stuff. So and it's that whole Midwest, all that area, the Perry Prado region, man, it's some grim looking stuff up there.
Yeah, that's. It's
what's that?
I said it's bad, man. I mean, that drought's bad, and it's gonna affect. I've heard other, I watch other, like Delta and stuff, and I've heard some of them say that it's not gonna affect, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's they're trying to sell memberships, and I got it, and they're trying to get people, to do these things. But I just don't see it happening. I see it as going to be an early push. Now you'll always have some places that are going to see ducks. They're always going to be there, but I think it's going to hurt. And then next year, it's even going to get worse. I think it's going to stick around for a couple of years unless we have a jam up breeding season next year. Yeah. We're going to be affected.
It had to hurt their nesting. I mean, that dry weather, they need a little bit of humidity or a little bit of water just for the eggs, the moisture. And being that dry, it just had to affect nesting this year.
Yeah. Hey, M2 Outdoors, how you doing? Daniel Miles in the chat room is asked, where is the best place to find migration reports?
I was trying to remember. There's a website I would get on and check it out. And then we got a local I know in Kentucky we had like a local, and what everybody would. It was like a everybody would kind of chime in and say what they're seeing, in Kentucky. But don't Ducks Unlimited? Don't they have a migration report?
They do. Ducks Unlimited has a migration report. I think Delta even has a migration report. Daniel, there's a Facebook page called the Atlantic Flyway Report, I think. It's not very active, but you might be able to find some information there. I'll be quite honest with you. I will look at these migration reports from these social media sites, and I believe about 1% of them. For me, it is you going out there looking and very, very close friends who you trust.
I totally agree with you there, because I mean, there's been years that I get on there and you look at them and these guys are like, man, we killed 3 or 4 limits and we're seeing them everywhere, and we wouldn't be seeing nothing. I mean,
right,
real close to where they were at. I think they were just trying to make themselves look good.
Yeah. I was looking at the DU migration reports, and I wasn't very far from. I mean, even here in South Carolina, I wasn't very far, and people were posting crazy stuff, and I'm like, I don't see it. And that's just the nature of the beast, Daniel. I mean, it's just that simple. Believe 1% of what you see in those, and you'll be pretty much on track.
Let me ask you this: so when duck season starts, are you like me and you're like always checking the weather up north, even though it don't have nothing to do with
Yep.
And then you come up with this plan, you see what's getting ready to happen up north, everything's perfect. I do that, I was like, man, this is the day we got to be out. And then I do that about, 15, 20 times a year, and I'm usually wrong, but
yeah. I've looked at the weather up north. What's going on? Oh, there's a nor'easter coming down. Okay, let's watch this. It'll hit, and I'm like, okay, I got to be out there on this weather push. And then usually I just get cold and eat sausage biscuits.
That's like on it was, I think, the Christmas Eve, and it had been warm the day before, and then it was supposed to drop down to I think it ended up at 3 degrees, and everything looked like perfect. It was like, man, we're gonna hit this slough and we're gonna slaughter them. Well, we got to the slough and it was about 6 inches of ice, and we couldn't break it. I was freezing, and I didn't want to say nothing, but there was a couple of boys like, you ready to leave? And I'm like, yes. So yeah, we missed that one pretty bad.
Yeah. You ready to leave? Yeah, I think so. I don't think anything's going to happen.
Yeah, it's just a little slow here. And there wasn't nothing. Yeah, we left at 8:30 that morning. So we busted ice, put decoys out, got set in the blind, got up, picked up decoys, and got back to the truck. And by then, fingers was hurting me so bad I couldn't feel them and all that good stuff. Hey, but that's what makes duck hunting fun. You don't.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because that's a story we talk about a lot. So even Mojo was looking at us like, y'all crazy.
Yeah, it's time to go, Dad. I want to get in my kennel and feed me something.
Yeah. Get the truck running and get the heat on, because I'm ready to get in the back seat.
Well, boy, it got dark quick there.
Yeah, it's getting pretty dark. I'm pretty. I think I'm.
Whoop! I think you hit the wrong button. Yep, I think he hit the wrong button. Man down. Well, M2 Outdoors was saying that he usually just Googles and looks for states at conservation sites. That's good information. Anybody else in the chat room have any sites that they look at? Look for migration reports? Go ahead and post them up in the chat. Sunfish Assassin, I'm sorry. I saw you come in and was in the middle of a conversation. Welcome in. Appreciate you coming. Yep, I do believe we lost Jay. I don't know where he went. All right, so if you got, like I said, if you got a question, post it up. He shot his first. Daniel Miles saying he shot his first mallard last year on the lake, January 1 in a deep slough. He got too excited and swam the last 10 yards to get him. You're not the first, Daniel. I can assure you of that. Cecilia. Okay, so the U.S. Fish and Game, they are the ones that set the seasons, and they also set the limits for each flyway. And we have the Atlantic Flyway, the Mississippi Flyway, the Central Flyway, and the Pacific Flyway. Now they set they set the time frame for the waterfowl season or migratory game bird seasons, and they set the limits. For example, the Atlantic Flyway that I'm on is 2 mallards. Now you have a combination, you can shoot up to 6 ducks, 2, okay, M2, take care. 2 of which can be mallards, 3 of which can be summer ducks, and each different species has a limit. Now it is up to the states to decide the dates that they start and finish, and they're only given X amount of days. So, if I'm not mistaken, the Atlantic, Mississippi, and Central Flyways, they get a 60-day season for ducks, whereas I think the Pacific Flyway gets 90, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong on that, somebody correct me. I have never hunted the Pacific Flyway, so I do not know. It's the only flyway I've never hunted. I want to go there and try it one day. So it's kind of, I hope that makes some sense. There's a lot of regulations for duck hunters. And that's, you got to read up on them and whatnot. So I hope I explained that. If I didn't, if it's another question that comes out of that, just let me know. Well, M2, if you're still here, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Come back if you get a chance. Let me see if I can find Jay. Like I said, if you have any more questions, put them in the chat. Okay, my season. Now, the we have an early goose season, which starts September 1st, and we have a early teal season that starts September the 10th. The goose season will last the whole month of September. The teal season lasts about 2 weeks. Once that is over, duck season doesn't come back in until the Thanksgiving holidays, which last about 5 or 6 days or something like that. And then it closes down again, and then it usually opens up around mid-December and runs into late January. And then in February, we have we can finish out a goose season, and we have some federal youth days and federal veteran days that we can hunt in February. Hope that answered that. Am I buffering? Okay. Yeah, I'm having some internet issues. Trying to keep my head moving, so I think we got a late evening storm is fixing to hit. Plus, I think my wife is streaming movies tonight, so she might be sucking up a lot of my bandwidth. Any more questions? All right. Well, I was thinking about this earlier, and as a duck hunter, I mean, I will hunt geese if I get a chance, but okay, the fins and fowl. All right. What do you think about waders? I wear them. Are you asking me what brand I use? Is that what you're asking? What brand that I use? I am using high and dry waders. I started wearing them last year. I really like them. So this will be the second season with them, which I did a review when I bought them, and I'm going to be probably doing another review on there. They are a breathable wader. And I like breathable waders. They're comfortable. They're cool. And I can move around a whole lot in them. Okay. Yeah. Brand. Okay. High and dry. That's the brand I like. Daniel Miles says, where'd be a good start for a first out-of-state guided hunt? Well, if you go to Arkansas, you can't hunt the timber unless it's private timber. There's no guiding in like places like the Biomeda, which is public. I would suggest Arkansas. I believe it's called Cypress Corners, if I'm not mistaken. If they haven't already booked up by now, which if you're trying to book a hunt now, you're pretty much going to be out of luck because everybody's getting booked up. You really got to book early for those places. But I would say Arkansas to be the first. You got a lot. There's a lot of diverse hunting there between rice fields and backwater sloughs and timber and that kind of thing. There's some good guides there, a lot of good places there to hunt. Louisiana is another great state, Texas, Missouri, certain places in Missouri, Kansas. So there's a lot of great places But I would try. I would say if you're going to be your first guided hunt, I would probably go to Arkansas. I just like Arkansas. Of all that I hunt, which is my favorite? Oh, I'm assuming you're talking about ducks. Yeah, I like. My favorite duck is the black duck, and that's just because they're very wary bird. The hard, not I wouldn't say hard to decoy because you can decoy them in. It's just my favorite bird. It is. It's just my favorite. After that would be mallards. I love the early season teal, blue wing teal. I mean, they are fun. They're fast. They come in. You're usually done by 8:30 in the morning. So you can get up and get other stuff done. Get out of there. Maybe fish a little bit. Maybe go on a dove shoot afterwards, what have you. But it's a lot of fun to do it. So Fins and Fowl says, yeah, I like Breathable. So do I. Yeah, the brand. Yeah, High and Dry. Let's see. You've had Banded brand for 2 seasons. They are leaking now. All right. Okay. So I don't like to bash different companies and that kind of thing. But 1 year I went out to Arkansas and I had some extra money and I went and bought a pair of Banded waders. I had a pair of neoprene with me. They were just getting old. They weren't leaking, but I had some extra cash. So I went and bought a pair of Banded waders. The next morning I put them on brand new. I mean, I took the tags off of them that morning. We got to where we were hunting. I stepped out in the water and they were leaking. I boxed them. We finished the hunt, boxed them back up, took them back to the store and exchanged them for another pair. And I took those out and it happened again. And I took them back, got my refund. And, I've had other people tell me they've had Banded for years and nothing's ever happened. I expect a pair of waders to at least last 3 years, 3 to 4 years. If they can't last 3 or 4 years, then put them on one time and then they start leaking. I just can't handle that, especially with the price you have to pay for them. Yeah, it did. And it was great that the sporting goods company is Max Prairie Wings. They did me right. I wasn't worried about. But I just can't see spending $500 to $800 for a pair of waders that last one season. It's not that I'm rough on waders. I mean, there are some days where I am, but I usually try to take care of them. If you look behind me, right over my right shoulder, right there, those are my High and Dry waders. So you can see I don't keep them out rolled up in a shed or hanging in the heat. I bring them inside. I bring them inside to my office and I hang them up. And I take care of my stuff. It just costs so much. High and Dry, I think you can get a pair. The price has gone up a little bit. I think a little over $300. You can get a good pair. Now, I will tell you that High and Dry, they make breathable waders, which I have right there. And they are breathable, but they're not insulated. The wader itself is not insulated. The boot is insulated, but the wader itself is not insulated. Now, they do make a neoprene wader that is very good from what I understand. I have not tried their neoprene, and that's just because I like breathable a whole lot better. I move a lot better in them. I'm assuming that they still have the Kevlar knees and stuff. Well, Fins and Fowl, if you'll look on my channel, I did a video on them, so you can get a better look at them. It's high and dry waders. I did a video on it a while back, so sometime last year. So if you go back in there and take a look at it, you can get a better look at the wader. The seams, most wader companies, and I say most, okay, not all, most, their seams are taped twice. With high and dry, they're taped 5 times. There's a Kevlar reinforced knees and upper thigh, so for hitting brush and whatnot, they work. I mean, like I said, I have not had a problem. The boot is very, very sturdy. It's one of the sturdiest boots I've ever had on any wader. Now, forgive me, or if you look at me, I'll talk about myself. I'm a pretty big fella. And when I mean big, I'm fat. Okay. There's no getting around it. I'm fat. So I have to wear a stout wader. Now their stout wader is smaller than most people's stout wader. So if you need a stout wader, I suggest get a size bigger than you would normally wear. So for example, I wear a size 9 boot. I had to go to a size 10. And even then, because my belly is so big, I have gone to a size 11 in the boot for their waders. I look like a clown walking because my feet are flopping, but the wader, then that's the only way the wader will fit. I will say that. So I was, and I talked to the owners of High and Dry, and I actually had them on the phone. I was talking to them, and I was just being honest with them. Hey, I'm a fat guy, but I like your waders. Help me out here. And I mean, they even said themselves that their stout is a little bit runs a little small. So that's just one thing to take into consideration. So if you want to consider it a con, that would be the con. If you're an average person with maybe just a little bit of a dad bod, so to speak, then your regular boot size will fit. I also went large, not only to get my fat belly in there, but because they're not insulated, I can put on heavier clothes and insulate myself. Yeah. Okay. I got you. So, look at that. I wanted some extra room in there to stuff, fleece lined pants and my hunting coat, because I wear my hunting coat inside a lot of times, depending on the depth of the water I'm in. And speaking of that, what I normally do when for some of you guys that like to boat, use your boats to get to where you're going. Now I do wear my waders in the boat. Yep, I got it. I understand. I put a belt around and I wear a life jacket, and then I put my waders on first, and then I put my heavy coat on over it, and then of course I use a belt around the waders, then put my heavy coat, and then I put my life jacket on. And the reason I do that is because when I get to where I'm going, I want something warm while I'm on the boat ride. And once I get there, I then I take my coat off, because I'm going to be moving around, setting decoys, getting warm, getting hot. And I've actually sweated in below freezing weather, getting everything, set up and done. And then what I do is I wear wick away t-shirts and whatnot. And then once I'm done and cooled off a little bit, then I put my heavy coat back on and shove it down in my waders for extra warmth. Little trick that I did. Oh, thank you so much, Cecilia. You put that on there for me. Appreciate that. But I'll tell you, fins and fowl, I'll tell you right now, and I watch a lot of YouTubers, and being a waterfowl channel myself, I heard about high and dry from a guy by the name of Joel Strickland, and he has a channel called Surviving Duck Season. And in my opinion, he's got the best channel out there. Hands down, as far as I'm concerned, he's got the channel. I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. If I could be a quarter of how good he is, I'd be a happy camper, in my opinion. But he is the one that turned me on to high and dry waders. I actually sent him a message one day. I said, listen, I've been going through and over and over and over and over with waders. I'm tired of spending lots of money on them. Give me the lowdown. Are they worth it? And I got the simplest answer back. 3 letters. YES. Yes. Have I ever tried the Motion Ducks decoy system? Yes and no. I do not own one. I use a jerk string. I'm very traditional about that. But I have a friend of mine that I hunt with from time to time, and he has a motion duck decoy system. And we used it in a small pothole in a swamp last year. And we hooked summer duck decoys to it. And every duck that we shot was landing on top of those decoys. So I know that they work. I know they work. They work. Okay. Smoking Barrels, what's going on, buddy? How you doing, Andy? You've watched some of his videos. Yeah. Listen, I'm not sitting here to say that we are best of friends, because we're not. We're YouTube acquaintances. And I guess I like him. The reason why I like his videos a lot is he thinks the same way, or very similar to how I think about things. And, a lot of people are loud and boisterous and whatnot. And, he's more calm and cool and reserved, and, is going to tell you the truth. And that's what I think, the same way. And I do. I like his videos a lot. They come out. I beat myself trying to get when I get the notification. I've been driving before and pulled off side road to watch his videos. So if that tells you anything. Let's see. There was another question. I may have missed it. Let me go back up here. It's not usually cold in southern Oklahoma. That is one state that I have not hunted. It's one of the few states I haven't hunted yet, and I've always wanted to go there. I've always wanted to go there. I got it last year mid-season. I could tell a difference from me than a traditional jerk rig, but it's not the best in vegetation. Yeah, I could see why. I think it would be a lot better in some more open, less vegetative water. Even a traditional jerk string sometimes gets fouled up in heavy vegetation, especially if you're hunting around lily pads and water shield and stuff like that. You know, alligator grass or even smartweed. I can see it getting hung up. I actually can. Hope I sent that to the right person. So while I'm waiting on a response from somebody, I talk a little bit about planting and some conservation kind of stuff and planting different things. Andy uses butt ripplers. Yeah. You know, I have one of those and I know that they work. Yeah, butt ripples. Yeah, you just squat down after eating hot dogs all day. But we talk a little conservation about planting and stuff. I hunt public water, and planting stuff in public water can give you a lot of problems, legal problems, as a matter of fact. So I discourage it. If you've got a piece of public water, and you're thinking about putting stuff out there, I kind of discourage that. And the reason is you don't know what's in that seed, and you could be bringing in a very invasive species into that area. I don't know how giant Sylvania got into our lakes. I mean, there's theories that it was transported by birds. There's theories that somebody was in a lake system that had GS on it, and they trailered it in off their trailer. All right, Andy. Okay, I got you. Andy. So be very careful when you're doing that. But there are natural stuff that you can plant if it's approved. Stuff like water shield. It looks like a lily pad. Some people call it snot bonnet. Yeah, GS is bad here, brother. You got that right. But water shield or snot bonnet is a pretty good, and you can transplant that stuff pretty good. There's a little seed on it that the ducks like. It attracts a lot of invertebrates. You can transplant it. Hey, I appreciate that, Daniel. Thank you so much for watching them. I appreciate it. You can transplant. There's some places that have what's known as duck potato or arrowhead, and it's transplantable. And there are some places that you can find it and be transplanted. But again, you got to be careful, how you do these things, because you could inadvertently be picking up some invasive species and putting it into your favorite duck hole, and then you've got that species going there, and that's not good. And the reason Andy, if I were you, I would just stop. It's getting weirder and weirder every time you write it. But I meant to bring the book. I have the book in my truck, and I'm not going to go out there to get it. But U.S. Fish and Game, or maybe it was South Carolina Department of Resources, have a little pamphlet out of different plants, native vegetation that you can find on our lake systems across the state. and what's good for ducks. And that's what I would look for. I'd look for that natural vegetation stuff. But if you got a piece of private land that you can manually flood, you got water control devices and so forth, you can plant, but be careful how you do it. I was watching a video the other day, and a guy was, he was planting rice in in his duck hole. Well, like any vegetation, there are some types of vegetation that require a lot of sunlight, and there's others that do require sunlight. Well, rice takes a lot of sunlight, and he was just scattering it, throwing it out there, just dipping a handful, getting it in a scoop and slinging it, and said, that's all you need to do. Well, no, that's not all you need to do. If you're gonna try to grow rice, hey, Livin, how you doing? You need to cultivate it, which means you need to have an open hole that gets a lot of sunlight, and you need to I will do my best, Daniel. I've got some videos out there that I show natural vegetation, good stuff and bad stuff. But I'll see what I can do, bro. Next time I go out, I'll see what I can do. That's a good idea, man. Appreciate that. So, you need to cultivate it. So you basically need to put a herbicide to kill all the broadleaf, and then come back in a couple of weeks, and you need to disc it up, and then you need to broadcast your seed, and then lightly cover it up, whether with a disc or a harrow. At which time, once you've got some in the ground, just covered up by dirt, then you could come over and broadcast on top, because you'll get a lot of seed. That's if you just throw it out on the ground, you're going to get a lot of seed that's going to be wiped out by bird predation. So birds are going to come in there and eat all your rice seed. You're not going to have anything. Certain types of rice have a long gestation period, so it's going to be. There's certain types that'll sit in the ground for months before it germinates. So, you got to understand what kind of rice you have and whatnot. So just slinging it out there doesn't work. I've heard some, and listen, I've tried this. So this is something that I've actually tried. I took some rice. I wanted to see what it was going to do. I took some rice and I put it in a croaker sack or a burlap bag sack, and I wet it and I soaked it. I soaked it first in a 5-gallon bucket for about 48 hours. And then I poured it into a burlap bag, and then I let it sit in that burlap bag, and I would wet it twice a day. I'd go out in the morning. I'd put the garden hose on it, flip it over, get it wet. And I did that for about a week. And then I took it out and I broadcasted it. Now, it hadn't even started to germinate yet. And then I broadcasted some of it into about 8 inches of water. Never got the first rice head out. Not the first one. So I know that doesn't work. You need to let it germinate to where it starts to pop, where that seed pops and you start to get in the root system. At which time then you might be able to take, if it gets long enough root system, put it into some shallower water, and it might take, but you're still not getting a full yield. Now, granted, you're not growing this rice for consumption. You're growing it for the ducks. I understand that. So be careful thinking you can just sling something out there and it'll grow. I've done wheat the same way. I've done millets the same way. I have tried it all, guys. I at one point in time in my life, I have tried it all, and it's a little bit will take. I'm not saying that none of it will take. Some of it, sometimes a little bit will take, but for the most part, it's not going to yield you enough to make a difference to keep ducks in your area, unless you cultivate it. And if you got some private land and you can cultivate it and you get it to grow, and once it gets a certain height, then you can start easing water on it and letting it grow, and then add more water as needed, and then getting a full bloom. That's the best thing to do. But just to take it and sling it is really, you're not getting your full yield out of it, because I guarantee you the birds are going to get in there. And I'm talking about blackbirds, songbirds, and whatnot, and they'll wipe it out. They'll wipe it completely out, and you won't have anything. Not so much as wild rice living as much as domesticated rice seed. I've never tried to plant wild rice. I could be 100% wrong on this, but my understanding is where I live in the southern states, growing wild rice, the traditional wild brown rice, is very hard due to the germination and gestations portions of it, that it won't, and because we can't control our water levels, it's controlled publicly, unless you have, like I said, unless you got your own private land. Now I know they do it successfully up where you're at, and I've seen them do it, but again, they have, when they're picking up their bundles, in the videos that I've seen, they have already a long root system, and they have them kind of tied up in little small bundles with a little bit of a weight to it. So when they throw it out, it sinks to the bottom, and if the bottom is murky enough, and eventually that root system will get into that mud bottom, and then it'll grow through the water, continue to grow. Exactly, Cecilia. It needs to be germinated first. And like I said, I have thrown rice seed out and I've tried to germinate, and it just doesn't work. You don't get the yield that you need to attract enough ducks to get in there. You'd be putting out a lot. But and Andy is right. It does take a lot of work, and especially if you got your own land. It'll take a lot of work. It needs sunlight. Remember this, that rice can grow through dirt, and then you add water, but it has a hard time growing through muck, through the water column, and up. It has a very hard time doing that unless it's already established. Now, once it's established, it'll come on up, but it has to get established first. Throwing that rice seed, it floats. Okay, it's going to float, and I mean, some will get down to the bottom, but it'll take a long time for it to germinate and then try to grow through. And again, it's going to be fighting against other stuff, such as other weeds, other plant life, and whatnot. So it's really tough to do unless you have a clear spot where you can cultivate it into the soil, and then once it starts to grow and sprout, then you can put water on it. And you need sunlight. You need a lot of sunlight on it. But I will tell you, out of all the things, all the non-native plant species, in grain, rice is my favorite. Corn is not developed to grow in water. Okay, so you plant a cornfield and you flood it, you're going to lose a lot of corn because of water rot. Millet, Japanese, whether it's Japanese millet or brown top or whatever you got, it does not grow in water. Japanese millet is a little resilient against water, but not like rice. It was made by the Lord Almighty up in the heavens above to grow in water. So, it's the most resistant. A lot of plant life get into it. A lot of invertebrate life gets into it. So you've got a lot of invertebrates. Crawfish love it. And trust me, ducks will eat crawfish. If they can get their hands on, if they can get their bill on one, they're going to eat it. Okay. Yep. It was made for watering ducks. That's right. I know that teal eat small crawfish, and I'm quite sure that other big ducks will eat crawfish if they give given the opportunity. So, crawfish like to hang around it because they'll eat the invertebrates. Okay. So, so it's a really good thing. It's really good. It's a really good food source, and it's a really good thing to grow if you can cultivate it. Again, I've tried it all kind of ways, and I'm still thinking of ways to try to grow it without cultivating, just to see if I can do it. But to actually go out there and sling it on the ground, out in the open, like I said, you're going to get something. Something's going to eventually grow out of it, but you won't get the yield that you need. Up here, wild rice is the king of all foods for ducks. Yes, I know. And I think that has a lot to do with your colder temperatures and your colder water, and how wild rice has developed. I've never tried to plant wild rice in the South, but like I said, my understanding is it doesn't grow very well because of our warm temperatures and warm waters. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. But that's what I understand. And so I've never tried, the wild rice. Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, that was Ty Bodiford. Sometimes Ty gets in here in the chat room and he kind of lurks around a little bit and doesn't say anything. But Ty Bodiford is a South Carolina rice farmer. He's very knowledgeable. I did a 3-part series on the rice on him, and it's very interesting. I tried to get him to say that we could grow rice, without cultivating, and he wouldn't let off for a second. I even got him offline. I said, dude, I just want to, take it and go try it. He goes, it won't work. It won't work unless you cultivate it. You're not going to get the yield. And, you just can't put a handful out there and expect every duck in the world to come. You got to have a lot of it out there for the ducks to find and the ducks to feed on. If you figure that, 250, I think they said that 250 ducks can eat an acre of food a day in a cultivated field. Think about that for a minute. You had 250 ducks on a 1 acre field. In a cultivated grain crop, corn, soybean, rice, millet, whatever. They could eat it out in one day. 250 ducks could eat it out in one day. But yeah, Ty Bodiford is a wealth of knowledge. He really is. And I put his phone number up there. He's told me on numerous times that, if you are interested in farming rice, I don't know why they don't do it here. South Carolina used to be, at one time, South Carolina grew more rice than anywhere else, believe it or not. So the rice farming, because of where we were growing it, moved out west to Arkansas and Louisiana and California and places like that. But if people would grow rice here, farm it. I mean, farmers farm rice here and then harvest that rice, sell it at market, and then come back and flood the fields, we would have a lot more ducks around. And what happens if you go and let's say you have your piece of private property. Let's say you got 10 acres. Let's just say 10 acres. And you can carve out 10 acres and you don't need to dig a pond. You just need a water source and a levee and a water control device of some sort. You go and you plant your rice. It starts to grow up. You levee it and you put water on it. It grows. When it's ready to be harvested, you drop all the water out of it. You break the levee, you drop all the water out of it. You let it dry out. You harvest it. You're going to make, and you sell it. You're going to make money on that harvest. You'll probably make enough, more than likely, if it's a good year, and you know what you're doing, you could probably make enough to cover all your cost. At which time you levy everything back up. And as the ratoon crop, because you're not going to collect every seed, some of it's going to fall down, right? And it will start to germinate and it will start to grow back up. Well, once it starts to grow back up, you flood your fields again. Well, by that time, it's duck season. So now you've got a smaller yield of rice that the ducks can eat. Plus, you'll have a huge, huge boom in invertebrates. And more than likely, you're going to get a huge boom in other stuff like smartweed or even sprangletop grasses, which the ducks like to eat. So now you've got all this smorgasbord full of food, and now you got your duck season. It's a win-win. It's a 100% win-win, for everything. You get to grow it. You get to harvest it, you get to sell it, you get to collect money from it, and you get to shoot ducks off of it. It's very simple. I just don't have 10 acres that I could do it. If I did, I'd do it. And I honestly, I'd probably do it in 5 acres would be the most I would want. And if I could do that, if I had a 5-acre field that I could do that in, I would do it in a heartbeat. I just don't have it. Small Water Charters, how you doing, bud? Glad you could come in. I was fixing to call you today. I'm assuming y'all went fishing? "14 hours on the water today. Great. Lord have mercy." Did y'all catch any big fish? But you caught a few, 72. Okay. Any big ones? Anything over 8? If it ain't over 8, I don't want to talk. I want to know if you broke your PB. No giants. Okay. So if you're interested, like I said, right now is not the time to start planting rice. And especially not for harvest. You got it takes about 90 days to grow. So we're kind of late in that, me talking about it, but we're kind of late. But if you're interested in doing that kind of thing, and you got some private land that you can do it, try it. And see if it happens. Like I said, just throwing it out there and hoping for the best is not the way to go. If you have a place you can do it, then try it. But just slinging it out there, it's just not the way to go. But while we're on the conservation and waiting to see if Jay comes back, another thing, I know duck season hasn't started, right? Duck season has not even started yet. And I'm thinking about next year. Can you believe that? And what I mean by that is summer duck nesting boxes or wood ducks. I know a lot of y'all call them wood ducks. I call them summer ducks. So I'm right now starting to think about next year. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's, that's why I am, my channel is Daddy Duck 365, because 365 days, I'm trying to figure out how I can get better at doing what I do. So here in a couple of months, I'm going to be starting to try to get my monies together and start building nesting boxes and collecting material and whatnot. And right now, the prices of wood have skyrocketed to, y'all know that. You can't even, what used to be $180,000 home is now $280,000 because wood's gone out of control. But I'm thinking about, building about 5, maybe 6 summer duck nesting boxes for next year. And the thing is, I need to get them built. I need to get them built soon. Why? Because in December, late December, and into early January is when you're going to want to start putting them out, finding locations and putting them out and getting them down in the ground and, getting your post in, getting your predator guards on, getting that box built up. Well, that's cool, John. So, I'm looking at that right now because in late December, like I said, late December, early January, I'm going to want to put these boxes down. And guess what? I'm going to be hunting that during that time too. So I want to get those down, get a post, find a good spot to put them under. And I will go into that later, on probably another video. I did one already this year. I actually didn't like the way it came out, but I'm going to do another one, hopefully a little bit better, and how I put them up, and get that post in the ground, get a predator guard around it, get it high enough up that if you do have flood water, that it won't go underwater. Get these nesting boxes put up, again, predator guard, get the box built to good standards. And because at the end of January, but I want them there. And at the end of January, early February, start putting nesting material in it. And because you're gonna want to, because they're gonna start nesting. I mean, at the end of January, mid-January to the end of January, ducks are starting to pair up. And then they're going to be looking for a place to nest. And then they're going to be looking around. And, I want them to have a nesting box ready available. Pallet wood doesn't work, Cecilia. You need a treated lumber because it's in the water. Your main post is in the water. Pallet wood has a lot of chemical. Usually has a lot of chemicals that are on them. It just doesn't work as well. The best wood, your 2x4, or excuse me, your 4x4 needs to be treated, but the best box making material is something like a cypress. So cypress wood, which is extremely, extremely expensive right now. But and pallet wood is just, they're too small. You need large pieces. Yeah, cedar's best, cypress. But like last year, I was finding, we were trying to get boxes made. I had issues with, I was having somebody make some for me. Not that I couldn't make them, but they wanted to make some, and I never got them made in time. they kind of lollygagged on me about it. And so this year I'm going to kind of be starting a little early. Yeah, rough cut. Got to be a rough cut. And there's lots of videos out on these things. So if anybody's interested, before I get one up, please, I'll tell you to go where, YouTube's wonderful finding out information. I'd rather you get it from me, but hey, you got to get it from somewhere, right? Let's see here. What else we got? So yeah, here in a couple of months, I'm probably gonna start doing that and try to get that stuff together. Probably 1st of November, at least getting things together and getting stuff built. And then throughout the duck season, finding good places to put them, and then getting them out there. But you can't have enough. So if you got, and listen, and if you got a little swamp that's close to you that that's private, it's probably the best. You do not want to attach a nesting box to a tree, and you don't want that nesting box to be like this. Like this is the nesting box. You don't want tree limbs to be hanging over it. Okay, you want it out in the open, but close to vegetation. So if you got like a cut grass area, sawgrass, okay, cut grass that is open, and you get in there and you drive a 4x4 down and put your nesting box, that's fine, because you just don't want trees on top of, or limbs and stuff on top of it. And you want to put a predator guard. Hey Wanda, how you doing? You want to put a predator guard underneath that nesting box. And the reason is because snakes, raccoons, what have you, will try to crawl up that post. Well, they can't get over the predator guard. If you got it up under a tree, a raccoon can swim to that tree, climb out onto that limb, and drop down and then go into the hole. Snakes can do the same thing. So you want that nesting box out in the open and away from trees. So don't put a nesting box on a tree. You're defeating the purpose. You really are. I saw one the other day way up in a tree, and it was up there, and I'm like, well, that's an unusual place to put one. Kudos to the guy that took a climbing stand and climbed all the way up there to put it up there. But you know what? A raccoon could swim to it and then crawl right up it and then get into it. It wouldn't be hard at all. Now, for a raccoon to find that would probably be slim to none, but you understand what I'm saying, right? You understand that they do climb, they can climb up trees, and they can get in there and eat the eggs and kill the hen as well. It was an unusual place for one. I wish I'd have gotten video of it, but it was pouring down rain. I didn't want to get my camera out. One of these days I'll ride back through there and get it on camera. But so if you're going to put one out, like I said, put it out in the open, close to vegetation. If you got a pond, or something, and you got heavy water vegetation around the edge of the pond, then you could take that and put it right there on the edge. And as long as you have a predator guard around it, around the bottom where they can't crawl up, you're good. You're good. So what else? What else we got? Any more questions, y'all? Come on, throw them at me. It's been a good live tonight. I think I've given you all a lot of good information. and I'm running out of tea, so we got to hurry up. This is going to be a one glass night tonight, guys. Any other questions? And like I said, guys, you know, I may not like hunting over flooded grain stuff. I actually, I don't like it, but I can't tell a man what to, you know, I'm not going to tell somebody what to do on their private property. And if that's what they want to do, then fine. I mean, that's up to them. But I am the kind of guy that likes natural foods, you know, moist soil, natural foods. I actually love hunting over cut rice. And after that rice has been harvested and that ratoon crop is growing back through, you know, I love hunting over that because it's, you know, it's already been harvested. But unharvested fields, I just don't like. I don't believe in it. But again, I'm not going to tell a man what to do. So if there's any of y'all that have these, I don't want you to be mad at me. I'm not telling you can't do it. I personally don't do it. But I'm not going to tell somebody that they can't. I'm not going to do that. It's just not my place. Yeah, running out of tea. We're in trouble. That's right. Well, we got about 10 more minutes, about 8 more minutes rather. So if you got any questions, let me know. Am I going to Colorado this year? No, I will not be able to make it to Colorado. I think my only trip that I'm going to make this year, and in case some of y'all don't know or may have forgotten, I may have said it, I may not have, I can't remember anymore. I took a new job about a month ago. So I don't have any vacation built up. And the only way I took this job, I had conditions because I had this trip in Kentucky planned last year with the Beetle bunch. And so I said, yes, I'll come to work. They were asking me to come. That's not like I went looking for them. They asked me to come to work for them. I said, the only way I can do is I got to take a week off in September to go on this hunt. It's a vacation. I've been planning it for a while now. So they're allowing me to take that vacation without pay. So I'm going, so that's the only vacation I can take. Now, if y'all want to start throwing money at my feet, via Super Chats and PayPal and Cash App, or sending me a check in the mail to my P.O. box, hey, listen, I will go anywhere. But I don't have the vacation time to go anywhere this year other than the Kentucky. Well, I'll tell you what, Andy, Colorado is probably one of those unfounded states. They have a lot of good waterfowl hunting in Colorado. When I was overseas, my dad took my son and they went to Colorado, and all they shot were Canadas and Mallards in dry fields. He said it was unbelievable. Yeah, Daniel, I've been back to a couple of the places. Unfortunately, this year, the one place where you actually saw us in, I have not been able to get in there, and that is because of low water. And even though I have a mud boat, there still wasn't enough water for me to get back in there. And because I knew it was full of GS, and I didn't want to be back there and get aggravated with it, I haven't been back. I did have plans to go last Sunday to go that area But another friend of mine who also knows that area and knows that particular spot, they were there, and they said that the GS was still in there, and so I just decided not to go back. But it's going to take a long time for us to kill this stuff. It's going to take a long time. And the only way I know how to send gold in the firstborn. All right, Herbax to see you. I'm going to be leaving here in about 5 minutes, so just let you know. Let's see, I forgot my train of thought. The only way I know to, other than the giant Sylvania beetle, it needs to get in there. That's the only thing that eats it. It's the only thing that eats it is a little small beetle. And it would just take so much, and it's expensive because they don't really last. Because in our climate, it just doesn't last that long. We use chemicals. It's the only way. You use chemicals to try to kill it or that beetle. But to prevent the spread of it, if you watch those videos, and Daniel said he did, but if you watch the videos, to prevent the spread of it, if you do come across it, that stuff will stick to your boat. So when you pull your trailer out of the water, don't go to another landing. Don't go to another body of water. Go home, wash it off, rake it up, bag it up, and either burn it. You don't want to wash it down a drain because all that's going to do is go to another water system, and you'll get it somewhere else. So you need to rake it up into a pile, let it dry out, bag it up, throw it away, or either burn it. That's the only way we're going to stop the spread. Yeah, it's a bug. It's a beetle. The giant Sylvania beetle. You got to remember something. The giant Sylvania came from Brazil. That's where it's originated from. So how it got here is a mystery. Theories that are out there that birds, migratory birds, it collects on their legs and feet, wading birds. They brought it in here. Another theory is that that a boat was in an infected area. There's a lot of giant Sylvania in places like Louisiana and Texas, and it could have gotten on a trailer. Somebody didn't wash their boat off. They went on a trip down there, came up here, or they're from there. They came here, put their boat in the water for a fishing tournament or something, and it started to spread. Like I said, it's a mess, and that stuff is. Like I said, it's an invasive species, and it will actually suck the oxygen right out of your water column. So all your invertebrates, fish, crawfish, other plant life, it'll take over and kill everything. All right, guys. Well, listen, I have been on here for 2 hours. I hate to do this, but I'm gonna have to leave. Get off of here. I have to leave the house in the morning for work about 4:00 in the morning. I got about a 2.5 to 3 hour drive, depending on traffic, for work. So I need to get going. And I appreciate y'all coming in. I appreciate the questions. Again, if you have more questions for me, please don't hesitate. Go onto my About page. Look up my email address. It's right there, daddyduck365 @gmail. send me a question. And I promise, if I don't know it, I will find it out and I will air it on the next live that we do. Hey, Eric. Hey, Fishing Frustrations. No worries, bro. No worries. But I do have to get going. It has been a long day. And y'all have a great night. Y'all have a great rest of the weekend, or rest of the week and then into the weekend. And again, guys, we will see y'all next time on Daddy Duck 365. Good night, y'all.